Good evening. This is Tiffany Fox, and you are about to watch the demonstration video for the Graphite Pencil Mini Sphere Practice Worksheet. So you should have this worksheet printed out by your teacher, and it has the rubric at the bottom, as you can see, so you know what the expectations are. We have a reference photo right here of the sphere that we are going to use, that we're going to draw here. Your sphere is already printed out for you, so you do not have to draw it. I have already started laying in some values right here, but I'm going to talk about laying in different values so that you can get an idea of how to work the graphite pencil so that it is nice and smooth and create blended edges without using your fingers. No finger smudging. As you can see, no finger smudging is right here in the first point of the rubric. So keep your fingers out of there. The reasoning being, there are oils in your hands, and when those oils mix with the grease and the graphite on the paper, you will get dark, oily, dirty spots in your drawing, and that is very unattractive once you've drawn something as beautiful as you are about to draw. So I'm just going to pick up kind of where I left off here, and I'm going to talk my way through it, and hopefully this will make sense as you're watching, and you can get an idea of how to create this beautiful sphere and practice your blending and your working with graphite pencil at the same time. So as you can see, I have started laying in some of these darker values. I'm working with an HB pencil. That is the same as a number 2 pencil. I'm using little tiny circles. This particular worksheet that I am working with, I printed out on drawing paper. So if your teacher did not print this out on drawing paper, don't worry. It's, if you're working on a computer printout on computer paper, you can get just as beautiful of an effect. I just want you to work very, very slowly, and I want you to use these little circles. So what we're doing is we're not starting out super dark. You don't need to do this because this is really hard to blend. See, if I try to blend in with that, how like messy and kind of strokey and liney that is. Yeah, you do not want that. You want a nice burnished application of graphite pencil. So the idea is to layer lightly, and you do not need your fingers to blend, because if you're working in nice little tiny circles and you are adding layers. So right now I'm just going and adding more. It's okay to press a little bit harder if you want an area to be darker, but you don't have to do this. That is not necessary. So I'm just going to continue. I'm watching my reference photo here to see where the appropriate value should be. Now we also want to get rid of the outlines. So this outline and this outline. So the way that we do that is we work from the edge. This is the edge, the outline of the sphere. We want that to be nice and crisp. So you don't want to be going across your outline here. You want to work up to it very carefully. And you want to... The idea here with this exercise is to get used to... Well, my pencil needs sharpened. So let's do that real quick. You want to get used to how the pencil goes onto the paper. So what is this going to do? If I do little tiny circles and I kind of like feather my layers back and forth, I'm not starting and stopping all at the same place. I'm not doing this really hard and making these really hard lines that we talked about right here, because you want to leave yourself room to blend a nice soft blend of values. As you can see here, this is a ball, so the light falls over it and the value transition from light to dark is soft. There aren't any hard edges like stripes on this ball. the light goes from very subtly from light to dark. So up here, I need to stay super light. So I'm barely touching the paper. I'm doing my little circles so that I don't get, you don't want to draw a circle right here that everybody can see. You're trying to communicate that light is hitting this object and that it is telling the viewer that they are looking at something that is round. Remember, drawing is visual communication. So you are talking to the viewer and you are saying to the viewer without using any words, you are looking at a round object. So how are you going to communicate that successfully to somebody who's looking at your drawing? So that's the whole idea behind drawing, is you're telling somebody what they're looking at, but you're not using any words. So the way we do that in this scenario is we make sure that we have a soft transition between these values. I'm just sort of slowly covering this in these little circles. And see, if you use these little circles, you can work into an area and out of an area without ever having any of these harsh lines. You don't want to go like this, because then you have this edge right here. You go from dark to light with this really sharp edge, and it looks like a beach ball with stripes on it. So I'm going to just keep adding. You just watch how I add this. There's no need to rush. Nobody ever got anything fabulous done by rushing through it. So I'm just adding. When I get down here, I am pressing a little bit harder, but I'm not pressing into the paper. That's my wiener dog growling. That's Willie. So I'm just building my value slowly. The idea is for this level of darkness, this value, to match this. And then here is our shadow. Now this is a computer generated shadow, so it's got a real crisp edge on it. But we want to have a little bit softer of an edge. If this were falling, in reality, Willie's not happy. There must be somebody outside. We can make our shadow more interesting. And shadows are darkest where the object meets the surface, and then they get a little looser as they move out. So let's continue to make this as dark as we need it. I apologize for my dog. He's standing watch at the door. Gonna go up here. We're gonna work up here. So see, I'm just building this slowly. Gonna build. I'm gonna get rid of my outline too. So see, as I'm working from the edge in, see how my outline is disappearing? No outline. Now we can still see it a little bit at the top here. So let's just bring, and this attention to detail, when you go to draw whatever your teacher has decided that your project is going to be, when you go to draw an object, you can make it look very, very real just by paying attention to your values, your value transition, and your lack of outlines. So I'm gonna come up here. So see, now we're getting somewhere. This is looking more and more like a sphere. Oh, there he goes. I don't know who's out there, but whoever it is, he's not happy. Just really good sound effects for our demonstration here. So now I'm going to switch out here, because see, this is the light part of our sphere. So in order for us to get rid of our dark outline, we need to work into the background. So, pardon me while I take a drink of my coffee. All right. We want to get lighter over here, because if we make this value the same as this value, we're going to lose, you won't be able to see the edge of our sphere. So we want to be dark out here on this side of the sphere, because this is the light side, so we need dark against light. As we come down here, we want to get a little bit lighter because this is dark. Okay, so now we want to continue laying in our values. Remember, to get rid of our outline, we have to work from the edge, from the line out. We don't want to be dark over here because our sphere is dark and we won't have any contrast. We will, if we make this as dark as this, then we will not be able to see your sphere. So no two places should the value be the same. So see, we got dark, light, medium, dark, dark, light. So it's a little bit of a thinker. You kind of got to think now. We don't want this to be dark because this is dark. We don't want it to be medium because this is medium. This is an HB pencil, so it doesn't get super, super dark, but it can get dark enough for our purposes. If you want to get super dark, you need a 6B or an 8B. And your teacher may have those things for you to work with. If not, a 2B would be sufficient, but this is an HB, so this is just a little bit lighter than a 2B. So the more value range we have, that means the more lights and the more darks, the rounder this sphere will look. We still have a little bit of an outline here. Let's work up from this outline. On your rubric, you have a full range of value. That means all your lights, all your mediums, and all your dark values. Everything from here to here. No outlines, even burnishing. So all of your expectations are there. Let's come around here. And I'm looking at this guy. This is where I get my, we want this to be nice and soft right here. Where it goes from light to medium dark to dark. We don't want to have any harsh edges between those values. See, up here you barely touch. And you just layer, 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 layer. And you'll get used to the feel of the pencil and what it'll do and the effects that you can get from it. This is the part where we just get used to how the pencil hits the paper and what is it doing. What can we expect from it? What can we expect if we press hard? What can we expect if we don't press hard? What can we expect if we add more layers? You know, it's all about how we manipulate the medium. All right. And that concludes the graphite pencil sphere tutorial. And remember, be fabulous. This is Tiffany Fox. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.